is the side of abortion that those who oppose mandatory ultrasounds never want you to see. And remember, the problem isn't just that Planned Parenthood is doing something corrupt within the context of abortion. It's that this is abortion, and we're seeing it laid bare. And their defenses, by the way, have been falling flat. They've been saying, well, this is selectively edited. Why didn't they post the full video? Just so you know, the raw video and these clips, this clip, this 8-minute excerpt, were posted on YouTube 21 seconds apart. So there goes that argument. Jeanne Mancini is the president of the March for Life, Education, and Defense Fund. She joins me now to talk about this developing story. Jeanne, thank you so much for joining us. I think this second video is perhaps even worse, if that's even possible, even maybe more gruesome and worse than the first one. I mean, she admits that this is for their profit. I don't know how anybody can argue otherwise.
Right, and even more than that, she subtly admits that they're placing profit ahead of women's health. Because essentially what she says is that they're willing to do a different kind of abortion, or last week they'd be willing to change positions if they can get an intact specimen, so to speak. And I have here their consent form, which actually has a line on it that says, "I understand there will be no change to how or when my abortion is done in order to get my blood of the tissue."
Wow.
They totally go against their own informed consent. Can you believe that?
Well, yes, I can believe that. But what amazes me is how they've been able to get so many people to believe that they're operating within the parameters of the law. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Jeanne, but the federal law is way more stringent than this. I mean, they say you cannot change after the procedure has already began.
Right, right. And federal law also says that you can't sell parts of babies for, you can't do harvesting of organs and you can't sell them. You can donate them, but you can't sell them, and that is what's happening here.
And she says, and this doctor, Dr. Mary Gatter, she's an executive. She is the president of the Doctors Council, so it's not like just someone who's sort of remotely affiliated with Planned Parenthood. I mean, this is someone who's involved in the day-to-day operating decisions, and she's on video talking about...
She's very high level.
Yes, talking about compensation, and she even says at one point, oh, well, the patients don't get anything.
Right. Of course. I think she says the patients don't get anything, of course. It's so interesting because just to even see the personalities of these high-level medical directors of Planned Parenthood, I think that's partly and maybe mostly what's so nauseating about this whole thing. Their whole lack of respect for the dignity of the human person and of these little Americans is just abhorrent. It just makes our stomachs turn. And even people who are pro-choice, pro-abortion are coming out against this. And I think in large part for that reason, to see what it's really like behind the scenes. Planned Parenthood, it's not a big, shiny, happy place. Abortion isn't like that. It's dark. These places are pretty dark.
Yes, and I mean, this is, a lot of people, when Cecile Richards was sort of trying to dismiss this as, well, this is kind of a one-off. I mean, this is, we apologize for the tone. I mean, not that they were openly discussing butchering infants and selling their parts on the black market, but we apologize for the tone. This was a one-off. But this is the abortion industry. I mean, it's an abortion mill.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, it's been my theory for so long that our role in the pro-life movement is just to bring it into the light. I mean, to continue to do all the science and research we can possibly do, because science and research are on the side of life. They always are. And just to show the abortion procedures and to show the clinics as much as they are, because that is what convinces American public. I mean, if we can show it for what it is, which is what these videos are really doing, I think we'll bring an end someday, hopefully someday soon, to this terrible Planned Parenthood.
Yes, and Dr. Gatter, Dr. Mary Gatter, which seems so weird to have that prefix associated with her name, considering how she was just so blasely just discussing just the destruction of innocent life. But she, in this video, was basically implicating a number of different clinics. So I have to go check with this clinic. I have to go check with this clinic to see what their figures are and what other companies have been charged with. I'm curious as to how much money. I mean, is there even an educated guesstimate as to how much money they're pulling in from this black market industry?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that specifically, but what I can tell you is that in their last budget, in their annual budget, they made $127 million expenses over revenue. So that was income basically that was surplus. And one of my coworkers, Tom McCluskey, today told me that would equate to 208 Lamborghinis.
Oh, that's a great statistic. And they get well over $500 million of taxpayer money, which, go ahead, I hope that they get defunded.
Yeah, well, so the well over is so accurate because there are so many different, I mean, they are just infiltrated into every aspect of our government. I mean, they get SCHIP, Title X, Medicaid, Medicare, all sorts of sexual, sex ed kind of funding. They get so much funding from our government. It's almost half of their budget, and I think that that's not even taking into account the state funding that they get and some of the local funding, which is enormous. I mean, these people are genius at getting federal funds and getting local funds. It's unbelievable.
Well, I'm glad to see. I know that the Texas Governor Greg Abbott, Bobby Jindal in Louisiana, they've announced investigations. Chris Koster, who's the Attorney General in Missouri, has opened an investigation into Planned Parenthood. I know that there's a subcommittee in Congress that's opening up an investigation. I hope to see some sort of swift resolution brought in this. Of course, I have a feeling that there are a lot more videos that are going to continue to expose a lot more. I don't see how they can get away from this.
I agree. I think we're going to, as you started out the hour drip, 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 I think this is going to continue on for months now. And I think, I'm hoping, I'm praying that this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Planned Parenthood.
Yes, me too. Jeanne Mancini, President, March for Life Education and Defense Fund. It's a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank you. Likewise. Thank you.
Well, whenever people get upset about, oh, these videos are doctored or they're frauds, okay.